So, thank you very much. So I have to start off, by the way, I'm about to tell a joke, and this joke would not have worked had we not got the presentation working. So I'm so glad we got the presentation working. And my joke is, I was looking at that this morning and I thought, what happened when my cartoon image became more handsome than the real thing? Time has escaped me. I would go out with that person. So I was trying to think, what do we talk about? What are we going to say as dClinic? And I thought, you know what we've achieved in Indonesia, in Batam, has been phenomenal. It's got so much world press that, and rightly so, that I thought what we do today is I'm going to tell you a little bit about this project, okay? Yes, it's a commercial, but in any event, I'm hoping that I'm going to, I'm hoping that I'm going to make you excited about what we're doing literally 45 minutes from here by ferry. It's 45 minutes, am I right? 45 minutes by ferry, okay? And it is incredible, it is incredible. So, oh, whoops, I'll just, okay. So, what am I going to talk about? So I've gone to many presentations. I've been a keynote speaker at several conferences now, and I'm a bit of an evangelist. I believe that healthcare needs blockchain. In fact, I think healthcare is the most perfect use case for blockchain. Blockchain at the moment is used for financial systems, transactional systems at the moment. That's kind of its birthplace. But I think this is the best use case. The reason for that is we all need health. We all need healthcare. So if we get it right in this domain, the implications around the world are huge. And that's what makes it so exciting. And I come up with a subtitle that says dClinic and Batam are leading the way. Now, Batam, it sounds strange, you know, this island that's 45 minutes away, part of Indonesia. How does that happen? How do we get to the point where Batam is now leading the way in blockchain? So that's really going to be what my talk is going to be a little bit about. Okay? So first of all, let me acknowledge some guests we have today. Mm-hmm. In support of what we're doing in Batam, we actually have the new deputy member. We actually have a new deputy of Batam here today. So Bapak Sharul Japrin. Yeah. Thank you. I got the name right. Is here to join us today to see what the presentation is about. But again, Batam has been a huge supporter of what we're doing. We also have Dr. Sigit here. Dr. Sigit has been a phenomenal member of our team. And towards the end, I've asked Dr. Sigit to actually say just a couple of words about the project that we're running over there. And I won't go through all the members, but I just want to recognize them and thank them very much for joining us here today. And that's a big deal, to have members to come down to show their support of the work that we're doing over there. So who is dClinic? What is it that we're doing? And again, I'm going to try and keep the commercial really light on, okay? So it's not the big sell or anything like that. I'm more excited about what it is we're actually doing, okay? But dClinic is actually a private healthcare blockchain. That's what we are. We're a technology company. That's what we do. We build technology. The thing is, blockchain, and it was eloquently put by the first speaker, is that most companies, if you ask them, what do they think about blockchain? Most of them will tell you, we don't really understand it, but we think we have to build one because somewhere down the track it's going to be useful for us. And that's pretty much how a lot of companies are treating blockchain at the moment. You know, we don't really know why we need to build it, but let's build it because there's probably going to be a use case around the corner, okay? So we're one of those builders. We build this. This is what we build. So if we build it, how do we know it's ever going to get used, or it actually has even an application out there in the real world? How do we do that? Well, we showed people how to do it. We actually then create an environment whereby the blockchain has a use. All right, so we're a bit different. We're not just a technology company, we're also a delivery company. In other words, here's the technology, and this technology can actually be used for the following application. All right, so we're both the technologist and the driver behind the technology. All right, and so the result we get from that is a use case. We actually develop use cases around it. So not just the technology, not just the delivery, but here's the actual use case. So once again, technology, delivery, use case. And I think that's really important. You know, as I've traveled the world giving keynote speeches, I've noticed many companies stand up and say, hey, we've done this really cool thing with blockchain, and we've done this really cool thing with a transaction system, and we've been able to do this, that, and the other with cybersecurity. But when they're asked, well, what's the use case? What do you actually apply it to? That's when they struggle. They actually don't have a use case. So our application really comes with a use case. Now, by the way, that's our CIO. He can wave his hand. There he is. Okay? So that's our CIO. And he does look a bit like that, doesn't he? So I've pitched a Deloitte slide next. Okay? Because Deloitte has been a fantastic governance, corporate governance, and PMO partner for us. And this is a really interesting slide. What does this slide show? Well, if I look at Indonesia, right now in Indonesia, I'm going to use Indonesia. By the way, I have my batik shirt on, okay? So if you're wondering why I didn't wear a suit, I did wear a suit. I've worn something formal, okay? If you have a look at the spend right now, this is the one thing I know. In fact, all of you can bet all the money that you have, and this will happen. Governments will go bankrupt because of healthcare. It is a guarantee. They cannot spend at the rate that they are spending right now. It's not possible. It's just not possible. The spend right now, if we look just in 2040, if we look at a spend of 199% greater than what we do now, that this government will go bankrupt. So will this one, so will that one. They will go bankrupt. There's no way they can sustain this growth. So they are out there looking at ways not just to save, but improve. Save and improve. And this is very important. When I put up the slide of our guests over here, one of the words I used over there was a co-innovator. We consider dClinic to be an innovation company. Batam is a co-innovator with us. They see this vision because Dr. Sigit, for example, knows that you can't keep spending money at the rate you do in healthcare. You can't do that. You've got to look at ways of not just saving money, but improving healthcare at the same time that you save money. And that's a very difficult thing to do. And we think that blockchain is the chance that healthcare is looking for. In fact, in the 6 predictions by Deloitte, right, this is a recent, I think, Chris, one of my cries to them is, come and play with us. Come and play. Operate in either one environment or they operate in one instance. Now, I'll tell you this, right? The problem with healthcare is healthcare looks at you as a patient. Well, patients are moments in time. That's not your life. You are a consumer of healthcare for your whole life, cradle to grave. And the problem is most apps, and by apps I'm talking systems now, like hospital systems and so forth, they view you as a patient. And if you're going to fix the healthcare system, then you've got to look at it as a consumer model, in which case you're looking at the longitudinal record, that holistic record of you. And that's very, very important. So for me, new entrants are disrupting healthcare, yay, bring them in, more the merrier. Because the more we connect, the more that record becomes enriched, the better that record is useful, and now you start getting through to real evidence-based outcomes. You see, when you go to hospital, and you fill in that form for the 50th time when you go to that hospital, or when you go to your doctor and fill in that form for the 100th time, they're moments in time. You can't do evidence on that. The evidence is when you go in and when you leave. That's it. That's the most evidence you will get from that encounter. But as a consumer, you have evidence that is longitudinal. So the idea is that we want to include more and more people, and that's one of the most exciting things about Batam, is we're going to create an ecosystem of players. Not just us. We don't want to be the only one in Batam. In fact, recently in Korea, when I gave a speech, my catch cry to all of them, what I said to all of them is, come and play. Come and play with us. Because the more of you that come and play in our blockchain sandpit, the more enriched we're going to make this ecosystem. That's good. That's good for governments, it's good for savings, it's good for the consumer. That's all good. So, governments cannot spend trillions. They can't. They're going to go bankrupt. Absolutely true. Governments create change management through legislation and regulation. That's really important. Why are we in Indonesia? Why are we here, Singapore? Why are we in the ASEAN region? Because governments are listening. They're listening. The more we encourage them to work with us, the more we can create change. By the way, you're all sitting there thinking, where's the blockchain? Where's the blockchain? It's coming. Okay? But you can't get a blockchain to work. You can't get a blockchain implemented if you don't have co-investors, if you don't have co-innovators, if you don't have government. Because mass adoption is absolutely critical for a life of a blockchain. So governments create adoption. They create ecosystems. They legislate integrations. This is good. Governments accelerate real-world projects. So the announcement is, we signed the largest healthcare project, and we're very excited about this. We are very excited about this. We've signed the largest healthcare project that certainly we know about, arguably, but nevertheless that we know about, and it was done in BP Batam. So, the first work stream is also underway. So I don't want to leave you with this impression that we're just talking at the moment. We're not talking, we're working. We're developing. So, I should have mentioned, by the way, that's Ashwani, who's our COO. Okay? I'm trying to associate the images, by the way. Okay? But and all of them are more handsome than me. Including this guy here, which is Chris. He's one of our believers. He's one of our believers and has come on this journey, and this very exciting journey. So why are we here with Deloitte? What's the purpose behind this? Well, governance is critical. All right. While I was in Singapore, it's your wearable, it's your Fitbit, it's your phone, it's all of that is healthcare. It is a conglomerate of that. So what we're trying to do is reduce the complexity, because that's very complex conversations and data flow. So the idea is, I should be able to talk and have complex conversations. And again, this is going to be fast, these next couple of slides. But the point being is that you reduce complexity if you track that data and analyze it. And so the idea of the blockchain is to track all that information. Blockchain can do that. EMRs, PAS, all the systems you have in hospitals don't do that. They don't do any of that. They track your first name, your last name, your age, maybe your allergies, not maybe, your allergies, your medications, etc., moments in time. The next thing it has to do is implement smart contracts. This thing excites me. This absolutely excites me. Why is it that we can't have you earning money based on your healthcare? Why not? You should. If I keep you healthy, think about this concept. If I keep you healthy, if this system can keep you healthy, I am going to reduce healthcare costs. That was the whole purpose. That was the purpose. Well, I'll tell you what, if I paid you, if you could go to an app on your phone and you could look at the money that you make by staying healthy, are you going to be interested in that? I think you will. I think you will. So if I keep you healthy and I pay you for staying healthy, then surely I'm going to reduce cost. So once again, if you perform the tasks, and how do I know you're performing the task? Blockchain. I'll track that task, I'll monitor that task, and this is evidence-based. This is proper evidence-based stuff. This is what blockchain brings to the table. It brings proper evidence-based. Now all of a sudden governments and organizations can start to reduce their healthcare. Pharmaceutical companies, this is very exciting by the way, because pharmaceutical companies are approaching us right now. Why is that? Because they can conduct things like clinical trials to cohorts that they can target directly off the data that we have. That's good. You're not taking risk. You're not saying, oh, we'll just take 50 people and hopefully 10 of them are going to be right. No. We target cohorts. Insurance companies can start to provide targeted services. You see, if an insurance company doesn't have to pay you because you stay healthy, but they still charge you some premiums, that's a win-win. Why wouldn't they do it? I mean, these are really simple questions. All we have to do is provide the platform that allows them to conduct this. Organizations are driving positive healthcare outcomes. That's what we're trying to drive here. So, hosted trusted collaborations. Why can't you have things like this? Each time you just need this person here to say, I consent. You can use my data. That's all they need to do. The regulatory can be built into it. The minute you get this type of conversation occurring, now you have something that's powerful. We have no system outside of blockchain that can do this. None. This does not exist. That does not exist outside of blockchain. You cannot do this. So once again, healthcare is the perfect use case for blockchain. Can you imagine getting notifications can you imagine the system recognizing that you're on a drug that is now out of date? Can you imagine that? Imagine now the savings. Imagine the statistics we can draw from that. By the way, what I'm talking about right now, some of you are sitting there going, oh, that's 10 years from now. No. Batam are doing it now. This is happening right now. So, extend the app. Let people start, as they complete tasks through smart contracts, reward them. You know, blockchain has this really horrible connotation because crypto is attached to it. Yeah? Bitcoin is an application. It's not blockchain. Blockchain is a technology. It has nothing to do, well, I should say nothing. It does not have to exist in parallel with Bitcoin. Bitcoin are different things. But once again, we've not done very well as technologists to explain that. But where tokens do have value is when you reward people. And again, why would you reward people? They stay healthy. So, I'm now going to hand over. This person here is our MD in Indonesia. His name is Sigit. And he's just going to spend a few minutes talking to you about the project in Batam. What is it we're actually doing from a technology perspective?